So, hello, Mr. Min. Welcome to chapter 16 about alternative evaluation and selection. And my name is Lynn. This is the table of content. We have five learning objective for today, and I will present about learning objective one about consumer choice. About consumer choice, we have some rational choice theory. This is some assume that a number of things about consumer choice are often not true. About assumption one is that regard at consumer seek one optimal solution to a problem and choose one that basic, which means that people usually make a reasoned decision, which can help them have a solution with the highest benefit with lowest price. But modern marketer argue that consumers don't always have the goal of finding the optimal brand for them because they always have alternative meta goal, which is considered as the general nature of the outcome being sought. For example, when you have to make some low involvement purchase, which purchase that is not make you feel really interested or you don't need to really consider about it. You have another medical, which is have you minimizing search and decision effort as much as possible. So you do not try to find out the optimal brand for your choice. You just buy a brand and appear memory, which is can have you save your time and your effort to find out another option. And the next one is assumption two, which is regard at consumer have the skill and motivation to find the optimal solution. Which have the argument that consumer often don't always have the ability or the motivation to engage in finding the optimal solution. So most decisions do not generate enough purchase involvement to motivate consumer to seek the optimal solution through extended decision making. They always have another reason. It has when we have too many information, that is, we don't have enough time and cognitive and interest to engage in extended decision making to make our optimal brain. So that is people usually just buy someone that maybe suggests the most, like maybe website that they use the tool to suggest the most interested option for their consumer. So consumer just try to use them, but not really have to do some external or internal research to find out their own choice. And the last one is assumption three. This is the optimal solution does not change as function of situational factors such as time, pressure, task definition, or competitive context. And the argument is that preferences can also shift as function of the situation, which means that when you put under pressure of time, when you have to follow a task definition, your preferences can change. This is can easily change based on your situation and another factors. So that's why we need to remember that consumer decision as often not rational in the sense of finding the optimal solution because it's always have another meta goal. Another thing is that consumer decision are not optimal due to the cognitive and time limit of consumer. And the last one is that consumer decision are malleable in that they change based on the situation. So consumer decision are much more circular, emotional, and incomplete.
So I will talk about summarize the type of choice website consumer engaging. So we have three type that effective choice and effective choice, attitude based and attribute based. So I will start first with the effective choice. So the effective choice is low involvement. It's not on some product attribute, but it's based on your liking, your emotional associated with the product or brand. It's just like I want it, I like it, I want it, and I buy it. It's just for that reason. And about the attitude based and attribute based choice, it just have a little different. But I think both that is in the high involvement. And about the attitude is like the use of general attitude, summaries, impression, but it don't have attribute by attribute comparison across the brand. Like a customer wants to buy a laptop between and considering between brand A and brand B and see what's her brand, like which brand is better, and see read the recommendation which brand is better, and they say brand A and she just bought brand A for that reason. But in attribute, you need to require the more less of use a specific attribute. At the same time, the judgment is brand and we rule the use of attribute by attribute conversion cross brand. For example, like when I want to buy a phone, I considering between brand Apple and Samsung, and I have the specific product on that, and I'm considering about the storage, the battery, the design, the price is suitable for me, is longer to use. but it's look like I deeply research in detail is about the activity-based choice. We will come to the next part, and my next member will continue.
Now let's move on to part 3, evaluative criteria and their measurement. Evaluative criteria are various dimensions, features, or benefits that a consumer looks for in response to a specific problem uh, when by comparing products and brands. While functional attributes are standards, there are also other attributes such as emotions and reactions of uh, reference group members for products that are consumed socially. For example, when you're purchasing a laptop, you might be concerned with cost, speed, money, operating system, uh, visual display, and warranty. These would be your evaluative criteria, and you would have a hard time with it. But someone else could approach the same product with fewer concerns, and because they have an entirely different evaluative criteria. And it's important to know that it takes extensive usage of a product to find out the evaluative criteria. For example, a consumer who buys a barbecue grill for the first time and has limited experience with it may have to determine whether or not they want to use charcoal or gas, which type of wood is suitable for creating the charcoal, uh, and how to put the convectional fan and the shape of the grill. After the purchase and use, these preference levels became more firmly established and stable. Uh, Next is the nature of evaluative criteria. Uh, it is typically associated with desired benefits. It is often more persuasive for marketers to talk with consumers about benefits rather than criteria, because it is the benefits that consumers ultimately desire. There are two factors when it comes to nature of the criteria. The types of criteria, which is cost, features, style, taste, prestige, feelings, feelings, and brand image. There are a variation, different types of criteria. Uh, but however, products for daily activities, such as toothbrush, toothpaste, tissue, toilet paper, dishes, uh, involve numerous criteria, and it only needs product familiarity and usage to affect the number of criteria considered. The importance that consumers assign to each evaluated criteria uh, is has great interest to marketers. Their criteria and importance affect which brands consumers will select and how they would react when problems arise. So we will talk about which type of measurement of evaluative criteria is suitable for different situations with brands and products. There is determination of which evaluative criteria are used. We have direct and indirect measurement techniques. Direct methods is just you ask them which criteria is important for them when choosing a product. Um, and indirect measurement techniques, such as allowing the consumer to indicate the criteria that someone else may use. So the role is changing a little bit. Next is the determination of consumers' judgments of brand performance on specific evaluative criteria, which consists of ranking ordering scales, semantic differential scales, and Likert scales to determine consumers' judgments on the performance of the brand. And finally, the determination of the relative importance of evaluative criteria, which has constant sum scale, which is common, and conjoint analysis. With the conjoint analysis means that the consumer is presented with a set of products or product descriptions that vary on several criteria, such as this picture here. when this comparison chart is comparing different types of copy machine, which has 8 criteria. Um, and then consumers will rank all of them in terms of preference or for those features, such as the boot size, the water capacity, the compatibility, and the touch screen. From there, they are divided into segments to develop certain products, specifically for each of these segments, and that better met their needs on important evaluative criteria. And that's the end of my.
Hello, Mr. Mun. My name is Nguyen, and I'm going to present about the role of evaluative criteria in consumer judgment and marketing strategy. So, I would like to introduce sensory discrimination. So, sensory discrimination is the ability of an individual to distinguish between similar stimuli. So, discriminate certain products, the individuals use evaluative criteria. So, through research, individuals are typically do not usually notice the relatively small differences between brands and products or changes in the brand attributes. So some of the easy to judge criterias are price, size, and color, but some harder to judge criteria are of the quality, durability, and health benefits. So I would like to introduce about surrogate indicator. So surrogate indicator is an attribute used to stand for or indicate another attribute. For example, price, advertising intensity, quantities, brand, and country of origins are surrogate indicators of quality. So, for example, in Vietnam, we usually shy from products that are originated from China because we associated uh, China originated products to low quality. So implications for these two concepts for evaluative criteria are um, the marketers can attempt to favor their brands to advertising as well as position in regards to specific usage occasion for the relative importance of attribute. And for surrogate indicator, the marketers can affect the customer choice in difficult situations to make accurate assessment of alternatives. So that's it. Thank you.
So, uh, welcome to my presentation. I will introduce for you about the chapter 16, Learning Objective 5, Summary, the 5 decision rules for attribute basis choice in their strategies relevant. So first we will go to the what are the 5 decision rule. Consumer use 5 decision rule, conjunctive, disjunctive, and elimination by aspect, lexicographic, and compensatory. Consumer frequently use more than one rule to make a single decision. And about how consumer make a choice, we have two things that consumer make a choice is attribute based choice is required to knowledge of the specific attribute at the time the choice is made and involved in attribute by attribute comparison across brand. And second is attitude based choice involved the use of general attitudes, summary impression, enthusiasm, or heuristic, or no attribute by attribute comparison made at the time of the choice. And next we will go is what is attribute based choice? It the knowledge and uses a specific attribute at the same time the judgment is rendered and involved the use of attribute by attribute comparison across brand like I said. And Next is what is attributes choice based on? The everyone that's reached the chapter 16, so everyone know that the attribute based processing primarily processes information within attribute or dimension of the information used in the choice. And what is an example for of attribute basis choice? It's like I will make you clearly about this as symbol. That's after consulting the internet to determine what features she is more interested or he is more interested in. The consumer then go to the her local electronic store and compares the various brand of the features more important to her, namely camera size or like for example zoom, automatic, filters, and store size. So that is the end of my presentation. Thank you for listening.
Hello, Mr. Man again. My name is Lynn, and this is chapter 18, post-purchase process, customer satisfaction, and customer commitment. So, this chapter just need to present about the learning objective 2 is post-purchase design. So, I'm the one who presented to you. So, post-purchase dissonance is doubt or anxiety after making a difficult, relatively permanent decision is referred to as post-purchase dissonance. This is some time that we usually call the feeling that regret or anxiety after buying some product that we consider a lot to buy, like after you're buying a house, you're buying a computer, a phone, something like this. So the probability and magnitude of such dissonance are a function of the degree of commitment or irrevocability of the decision, the importance of the decision to the consumer. The higher degree of importance of the decision, the higher percent that you may feel that dissonance after purchase some product. The difficulty of choosing among the alternative and the individual tendency to experience anxiety. Someone that have a tendency to experience anxiety that they always try to evaluate to feel dissonant after they buy some purchase, and this is tendency of the people, and not many people have that tendency, so this is maybe depend. So dissonance does not generally occur for low involvement nominal and limited decision making. This is because this is easy and unimportant. You just after you buying some product, maybe this cannot adapt your expectation. So you just do not feel really regret. You just try to not buy this brand on another time purchase. You do not really evaluate about it. But in high involvement extended decision making, where trade-off among desirable attitude create conflict. You may feel more dissonant after you buy some product. So approach to re-evaluate or alter decision to reduce dissonance is increase the desirability of the brand purchase, decrease the desirability of rejected alternative, decrease the importance of the purchase decision, and reverse the purchase decision, which means that return the product before use. So based on this approach of consumer, marketer can use some marketing campaign or some following up advertisement to affect the consumer evaluate. They can change because people usually do their evaluate process by some external research by finding some informal information which can help them confirm their choice. So a marketer can apply to their marketing campaign to make consumer that always believe that their choice is right. So they do not feel dissonant anymore. So similar to post-purchase decision is consumption guide, which is that negative emotion or guide feelings are aroused by the use of product or service that maybe a people always want to protect the environment. So maybe they felt that a little maybe regret after they're using some car which it can create many carbon into the environment. So what marketer usually needs to do is that give them a permission, give them a reason, exception that they use that product is not really usually affect their emotion. So this is the work of the marketer has to do. And that's all. Thank you for your listening.